are no swords here, only farming tools.
Facing the ambitious boy. The solemn council is still filled with clamor. Future's destiny still whirls in discussions of candor. To discard the city and save oneself, or to chase the flames that waver. None know the choice that would lead them to a place better.
I fear. How can mere mortals defy the gods?
I worry. How can mortal bodies reforge the world anew?
I suspect that the prophecy is simply a rumor.
In the distant past, the Holy Maiden brought the first prophecy to all city-states.
Hearken to the sounds that the doors whisper.
In the name of God's proper hope she will give to humanity. Though she falls into confusion, she will bring guidance to this world in vigor.
Overthrow the gods, it declared.
Of the previous journey, she will always remain aware. The Queen of Laws lifted the flag to chase the flames' flare. The tripartite prophecy guided all the world's heroes, all who dared, and building a new world was their oath of yesteryear. The earth roared for them, the tides surged for them, the scales of destiny shivered violently, then slowly calmed. The core flames of the Titans rested here, while the blood of companions congealed over there. The child led one hero after another to their end, but no end awaits her, no rest to prepare.
Teacher, do not hesitate.
The weaver of gold brushes aside the child's tears.
The world still walks on the path you indicate.
The prophecy still stands, even if the actors now different faces wear.
Restore the core flames, it declared.
The solemn council is still filled with clamor. Future's destiny still whirls in discussions of candor. To stop right there and seek peace, or to continue a work still unfinished. None know the choice that would lead them to a place better.
Stop! We only wish to live life as it is, no more.
Cease! Our achievements already stand tall.
Rest up! We only wish to live in peace and prosperity.
The discussions today are the same as those in times past. Retreating now will forever deny us the future. The child has already conquered her confusion and fear. No longer before the mists of fate will she cower.
Hearken to the sounds that the doors whisper.
She travels through myriad passages, burning with determination to once again bring light to humans through her endeavor. The children fly into the streets, wishing to encourage the residents' faith.
Please, be not afraid. We will definitely bring you to a new home.
Lady Treeby, Lady Treenan, please don't cry.
Do not worry. We trust you always.
The matron wipes away the tears on the children's faces. The praying ones piously bless them in faith. The lost ones take the children's hands, just as the prophecy guides their path.
Bear the divine authority, it declared. Quiet Trinan has little to say. Lively Trian loves to play, and well-behaved Treeby roams around all day.
The people's encouragement rings sincere. The Chrysos heir's companionship lasts through the years, and Mother's embrace warms up every dream. Thus the child understands. Thus the child accepts. Though countless farewells on her shoulders weigh, though destiny's blood dries like clay, there will always be passageways filled with warm sun rays that silently open to them in future and past days. And from them, a voice says,
Forge miracles, it declared.
Who would win? A young girl emerging from her sheath and showing her edge, or a tyrant who has emerged victorious from 100 battles? The black and white legions squared off on the battlefield, golden and crimson blood converging into a coursing river.
The leader herself actually dares to step forth and face peril?
The tyrant charged toward the exposed gap in the king's flank, and instantly fell into a trap of raging flames and iron rain.
On the board, the king too is but a chess piece. If the king does not lead, how would any dare to follow?
She lifted the king of the crystal pieces high, as though proclaiming the ascension of a new king. Who would win? The holy city that has stood for 1,000 years, or the foreign city-states invading from 1,000 miles away? Hollow hatred ignited the flames of war. The besieged walls of dawn tottered.
Only a miracle can save us now.
The cowardly elders barred themselves behind closed doors, while the trembling citizenry knelt and prayed.
There is no need to panic. The miracle is already here.
Under the banners dancing like waves, the burning crown shone bright as the wheeling constellations. Who would win? The general who saved the city, or the high and mighty with their privileged authority? The guillotine fell, severing the elder's life. The whispers dissipated, and the scales of victory tipped.
From this day forth, I shall bring justice to the holy city.
The people cried out her name and knelt in reverence, but were stopped by the sound of the scepter of authority striking the ground.
Do not lower your heads beneath my crown.
This was the first and also the only imperator. Who would win? The heroes bursting with ambition, or the omnipotent gods?
The Imperator issued the decree! The start of the flame chase journey is at hand!
Perhaps drawn by the grand design to welcome the Era Nova, or perhaps convinced by that king's great renown. Righteous warriors from across the land gathered before the Imperator's throne. On the day the journey began, the sky was an expanse of fluttering banners. The people gazed upon the overwhelming military alliance, a golden city reflected in their eyes. As for the end of that chess game, the scholars debate endlessly, but such discussions always end with a sigh. The invincible Imperator faded at the pinnacle of power, the crown's flames extinguished in the lake. The banner once revered by the people, along with the broken spears of the heroes, now a tomb. The people said,
Even the sovereign that conquers all before her is no match for fate.
Yet she said,
In a war with fate, has there ever been any justice?
The gates of the Temple of the Three Fates gently opened on the day of prayer, and the crowd crouched, whispering like the tide. The priests of Janus listened to the prophecies. The unwavering axis of the scales of Talantin maintains balance, and only Orynyx remains silent.
Teach me how to answer prayers.
The Titan tasked with time is as perplexed as a child.
Don't be scared. Please don't be afraid.
A familiar voice rings out.
Listen carefully. The future they want is in the past.
Like the first light of the morning star.
Really? In the past?
The child sank into a peaceful slumber of recollection, whispering revelations in their sleep. Until the masses crying out amidst the flames of war were swept away by the sounds of sharp swords locking, the fires of ambition incinerating the law.
Mother, usurper, assassinate the divine body.
Memories are tightly entangled by nightmares with nowhere to run.
Don't be scared. Please don't be afraid.
An unfamiliar voice rings out.
Go to sleep. The ending they want is yet to be born.
Like the warm glow of the setting sun.
Really? Not here yet?
The child continues to sleep, waiting for the next waking dream. And when they opened their eyes, 2 of the 3 fates who once received offerings had already faded from the pages of history.
Mother, I'm already all alone.
The child let out a helpless cry.
Don't be scared. Please don't be afraid.
A familiar voice rings out in the mirror.
Just wait. The stars that illuminate the night will visit in the end.
Like gentle moonlight. The gates of the Temple of the Three Fates now closed tight. People no longer pray to a titan who cannot touch the world. Within the inescapable dreamscape, the flower stems nourished by the black tide serve as a swaddling embrace, drowning the young child's soul.
Mother, help me leave this place.
But this time, they didn't receive a response. Only long years of yearning and pain. Like the silence of the Evernight. Days and nights passed, the years turned. Dust covers the glory of the past. The priests have forgotten this titan.
Waiting. Hate waiting.
They watched over the slumbering sprite, gazing at the dull mirror. But a fleeting mirage flickers in the mirror, the shining stars and the lights of the home, and a strange yet familiar voice.
Wake up! Our familiar old friends have already arrived.
Like the newborn dawn. The ancient chaos was shrouded in silence and shadow. The giant dragon's offspring was born from the earth. Sweet dreams had smothered the giant dragon's eyes and ears, and as they slept, the 100 eyes of Aquila had already opened, and Fagusa had begun to stir the playful waves. Yet Georios remained weighty and silent. Layer upon layer of peaks enveloped the dragon, cradling them in a bed more grand than any in existence. The giant dragon spent their childhood in darkness. From the moment their bleary eyes blinked open from haze of slumber, they hungered to feast on crude iron and drink deep of molten lava. Until one day they raised their head and with a low, guttural voice pleaded to glimpse light. The Titan lifted them up by their ribs, slowly raising them. The dragon's spine sliced through the strata of rock, cutting open the soil. When they reached the surface, they summoned mist woven of the fire of the stars. As though seeing themselves clearly and in full through the eyes of a giant bird. The giant dragon walked the earth alone. The Titan knew they were lonely and terrified too, and so sculpted new beasts from flesh and bone. In that wild, barren world, the giant dragon led the beasts of the earth. Excessively long life gifted the giant dragon with eyes that could pierce the veil of years. They witnessed the separation of day and night, as well as the entanglement of reason and romance. And even Kefali did not neglect to share with them a chalice of golden blood. The ocean teased, saying even should the earth sink utterly, they would not rot. Ever since they opened their eyes, the giant dragon rarely returned to slumber. And thusly, that mesmerizing dream that occasionally burst forth at night etched a trace on their memory. The gods they were familiar with were in this dream, and they were as immense and imposing as ever, yet had lost their freedom. Just what manner of magnificent pathstrider could imprison the Titans as mere reflections? The giant dragon dreamed also of their own path, that great breath from the heavens, or perhaps from beyond even the heavens. They dreamed of silver shards amongst the stars, reflecting the form of another giant dragon. That great cerulean dragon approached Amphorius, the distant whispers roiling, becoming a roar engraved in the earth. They recognized the meaning in that low roar, its name, permanence. The black tide that blotted out the sky surrounded the city walls, the soldiers manning the walls, battered from battle. Melodious chords of music were suddenly heard. A single swordmaster had overcome the waves of enemies. The song flowed from betwixt the blades, breaking through formations as a dorsal fin cleaving the waves. When the last wicked beast finally fell, shattered into pieces amidst the sword's dance, the frost blade bore no trace of blood.
The legions of heroes under my command are as vast as the sea, yet lack a formidable sword banner.
The commander extended a hand, inviting the musician to join. Should a fish separated from its school glimpse a faint glow, it will swim toward the light. The swordmaster clasped the commander's hand, as though gently grasping the hilt of a keen blade. When the spray of her waves extinguished the fires of war from the holy city, a golden name was engraved upon the stone pillars. The former commander burned the crown to become king.
High Sealands, brave in battle, triumphant in command, I grant you the title Dux Gladiorum. Let us all forge ahead together.
During the banquet after the battle, the weaver tailored for her a splendid dress, and the commander poured her honey brew. Her golden-blooded comrades gathered about her, chanting her new name, urging her to play that splendid music. The candlelight danced and mingled with flowing drink, swords and song ringing out in unison. Yet none knew that was once a lonely melody from the deep sea. The music of revelry continued for a long time, until the whispers of conspiracies were buried in the songs, until the roars of lethal struggle shattered the music. Legend holds that they who bear the weight of a pillar shall one day return to where it stands. Those who tug at the earth shall end amongst the mountains. Those who sow dawn and dusk shall remain eternal in the sky. And she would once again return to the pitch-black sea, and she would once again sing her music alone. The bountiful ocean, with the banquets of bygone days, stir as futile bubbles at the bottom of a glass. Many years later, the song once played by that swordmaster was played by future generations in the holy city. The people knew the demigod of the seas was still a noble captain. She possessed peerless swordsmanship and a song that is passed down through the ages. It was just that she had long since vanished. Guests at the banquet sometimes spoke of her, but it was only a prayer between their cups.
High ceilings, melody of the waves, bless our night that we may drink deep and
This world may contain thousands of ills, but the number of sufferers is countless, like ocean-going sails. The father and daughter who inherited the sky wander this land's paths, and throughout the cities, they heal the unwell.
Heirs of the sky who once reveled in martial might, why do you now soothe the world's blistering blight?
The doctor responds with a smile as he cures the injury's agony.
Father, why did our ancestors revel in warlike might?
Because they only have a sorrowful past of lamenting wails.
Then why are we here, soothing the blight?
Because we have a future that needs protection still.
The priest who parts dusk from dawn collapsed the sky and sealed her wings, and dwells in a place where time itself meant, bearing the promise to return to the zenith supreme.
This is the Twilight Courtyard's story.
And the father tells his daughter the tale of their line, next to the bonfire lit in the wilderness where winds pine. Though he had told this story many times before, a light in the girl's eyes still shines.
Maybe I will return to the sky one day.
Or maybe that is not to be your fate.
The blessings of the sky were passed down through generations of their heirs. The brawn of the Titan who molded stars granted a boon fitting and fair. Perhaps the girl with heroic blood in her veins will be accompanied by thunderbolts and the sun's merciless glare. Childishly, she recited the words,
"Oh sky, heed my wishes."
And thunder and heat did not descend. She only saw a sliver of gentle, warm flare, wiping away mortal exhaustion and others' tired airs. What a gentle blessing. All said that she must be a savior saint, bringing light to the land, even if faint. But where the girl's eyes often gazed was the wine-dark sky, gloomy and bleak.
The god is also sick.
That grand longing to save the world may be no more than the girl's feeble dream. But her father treated it as his greatest treasure and taught her all the ways of potions and creams. That girl therefore always accompanied to gentle master of healing and repair. And she brought glowing faint light to the night, dispelling pains and mending the world's pitchy blight. Father and daughter often rested in the silent courtyard under the giant tree. Yet today, at that place, only one solitary figure can be seen. On that night, the healer spoke to a visitor throughout the night. On that morning, he bid farewell to his daughter for the first time. He will heal the ill at a faraway place where the end of days approaches and no family of his should follow.
You have learned the craft of healing and understood the blessing, but a light more radiant still is needed to heal the entire world.
The departed healer never returned, and the girl never left. And that rather lonely courtyard stayed silent as it was before.
A good student who often did stupid things,
was the assessment from the lotophagist sage.
An excellent healer who fails at all scholarly means,
was the assessment from the noticed sage.
A shining child who also burns away her own life's rays,
was the assessment from the erythrocaramist sage.
A fool who was always wreathed in smiles, while drowning in a weighty and pitiful dream,
was the assessment from the Neusporist sage. The girl had visited all the schools during her time studying at the Grove. She refused to become a scholar, despite her exemplary grades.
Instead of increasing this world's knowledge, I prefer to reduce its pain.
While the sages faced her words in silence, the Neusporist sage alone decided to hire her as assistant post-haste.
An apprentice who spends wisdom is more precious than scholars who hide knowledge away.
The faded twilight courtyard, long eroded by time, now shelters a girl, the sole heir of her lineage. Loneliness accompanied her days, till the sage of the Caprists visited her and brought her a chromatic pony with a grin.
It may be the Eye of Twilight's creation in times gone by, for it shines with the sky's rainbow hues within.
Could it be the warlike winged beast of her father's tales? But the sleepy and dreary-eyed pony before her was soft as freshest plucked cotton. The girl still took this gift, for from the little creature she smelled the scent of clouds distant.
If it weren't for her, I would have suffered more accusations.
The Neusporism sage says in admission. The scholars coming to deliver arguments and reproach often stopped before the door, not coming to fruition. For the girl before the door soothed their blazing anger like the soft clouds, gentleness in cumulation.
Do you know what sacrileges he has committed?
The girl muddles her answers, yet her heart knows in full admission.
Like you and me, he too wishes to heal all of this world's afflictions.
The girl treated ailments for many years in the Grove, composing her medical treatises into tomes. When scholars seek medical help, she realizes with a startle that kindness too can grow into its own bloom. By that time, the twilight already lost their eyes, and the world drowns in evernight, while the girl and the healer again traverse the world in gloom. Seeing the golden thread and ivy in the night, though it has been long since she recalled her past, she once again thinks of her childhood dream.
Should the sun be dimmed by destiny's decree, then the dawn that heals the world I shall replace.
On that day, the dawn promised by the Sky Father shattered in haste as the black tide surged, breaking through the walls with relentless grace. In a quaint yet exquisite courtyard, two bitter foes meet at journey's end, their fates entwined in fate's regard. With no escape, no road behind, they trade a weary smile in kind. Together they gaze at the heavens of fire.
If I can ever see the faint light again and stay alive.
Then, Outlander Nemesis, you I will forgive.
Not long ago, as the romantic demigod closed her eyes, the girl bottled her tears in sorrow and once more opened the dim-lit garden wide. Two figures step into the courtyard's gate. A general of criminals, her body torn, by vengeance bound, by fury swayed. A noble of the holy city, once wrapped in gold, now haunted by a fate betrayed. A simple injury, or so the girl believed, yet the two women met with scorn, their words like blades. Because their children fled in love's embrace, while bloodied pasts left scars in place. A feud unbroken by countless years, a chasm carved by blood and spears. This was a sickness beyond the girl's touch.
Just do your duty as a healer, girl.
Family feuds are like sunlight and storm clouds. They cannot mend.
At last, the girl saw it clear. The courtyard's birth, in days of yore, was born to mend the rift of dusk and dawn.
Then I will make every effort to have you cast aside your difference in this faint light.
Before long, the general's wounds were healed, and the noble's worries gently repealed. Yet when their gazes met once more, the loathing within remained unswayed. The girl then spoke the tale of her skykin, of a grandmother's sacrifice, a father's flight from within, of ancestors who descended, leaving their feud behind. Their hands in hers, she held them tight, yet flames of hatred burned too bright. She did not waver or despair. She just smiled and gazed upon the sky.
I will use my own fate to prove to you.
The courtyard, once bright, lay steeped in night, hanging blossoms and wind chimes all swallowed by the black tide. The general raised her spear for the noble's sake, while the noble whispered prayers for the general, gentle as a lake.
If I can ever see the faint light again and stay alive.
Then, Outlander Nemesis, you I will forgive.
The death they awaited never came. Instead, a cascade of colors fell from the heavens, simply there, protecting them both. The sky still burned, dark and low, yet her words lingered, a gentle ember refusing to fade.
I will use my own fate to prove to you. Day and night can be mended, and so can hatred be undone.
Sky Castrum, its ruins like a blind and weary eye, gazes upon the earth in its dying sight. Alone, the girl remained upon the battlefield. No time to shy from the searing gold, no will to wear her usual smile. She fought her way to destiny's edge. Of the crumbled mural, but one piece endured. A corner betraying the day thunder night, dazzling in blaze. She placed her hand upon the mural, pain seared through skin and bone, as the picture claimed her within its lines.
Nothing is mightier than the sky. It holds countless wonders within its clouds, and each opening and closing of the eyes brings dawn and dusk.
In that painted world, the girl Celiosi's eyes glowed, watching her father, steel-clad and unyielding, cross the land beneath the searing sun. But the girl known as Hyacinth recalled her father's fragile light in the dark, the journeys into lands unknown, marked by endless sunlit days and restless winds.
The sky is the gentlest of all. It watches over all things with compassion, showering them with soft rain and morning light.
And yet, the sky remains so cold. It witnesses believers tear each other apart. And still, it cowardly flees from all responsibility.
Within the frame of that image, the one called Celiosi bore fury in her gaze, her golden blood trailing as she turned from home, sharpening arrowheads beneath the wide and barren sky. Hyacinth remembered her grandmother's song. She recalled her prayer to Aquila before her grandmother's journey, and how bitterness followed her to an unknown land.
But the sky is so lonely too. Forever distant from the world beneath, it watches every sorrow, unable to intervene.
No. The sky must be merciless. It must scorch the wicked, temper the fragile, and pass divine judgment upon all human wickedness.
Within the mural, the girl named Celiosi became the divine eye, gazing down without mercy, a titan passing judgment upon her own kind. But in memories deep, Hyacinth heard their call, the golden threads that shielded all, the burning sun, vast and unyielding, carrying the weight of all the world had known.
No, the sky must not forsake kindness. Through its boundless embrace, it carries the core flame of hope for humanity.
The sky, it's so dark, so cold.
In the depths of memory, the girl named Celiosi pulls her knees to her chest and trembles.
Then please, come sit in my courtyard.
A gentle ray of light seeped through, the celestial mural now fused anew. Once more, the land knows favor and boons. The girl who has now become the sky takes the hand of the girl who once was.
I want to tell you the secret of the sky's greatness. Whenever the anguished earth looks to it, it always offers a smile in return.
High ceilings, melody of the waves, bless our night that we may drink deep and dance till dawn.
There are no swords here, only farming tools.
Facing the ambitious boy, the shopkeeper kindly explained.
Even a rake would do. Let its worth be judged by the verses I compose with it.
Many days later, the wounded child stood upon the scorched earth, and silently he buried the ruined tool. For that was his first sword. And on the day that the black tide came, he broke the shackles of fate with that weapon true.
Let go of my beard, you white-haired rascal!
No!
Fine! You win, okay?
That was the first victory claimed by the boy, a victory often mentioned in later years. And yet he never treated it with shame.
I understood something thanks to his beard.
The others hold their breath, waiting for his thoughts, but he only gives out one response.
The victor must stay focused, and success will come when you work on nothing else.
Those words became the foundation of his existence.
Knowledge is also a power used to smite.
While studying at the Grove of Epiphany, he etched this into his heart. So he devoured thousands of books, skimming through to glean the martial powers of might. But unenlightened wisdom is merely dust, and when the next calamity approaches, all he recalled is flight. Thus, his books are always worn into shreds, for each book was read endlessly till he remembered every detail slight. When first arriving at the holy city, he was no more skilled than a soldier, except his ambition.
Even the deliverer from the sky must have their beginnings in the soil of the nations.
The elders in the holy city scorned, casting him into barracks in derision. But none expected this new recruit of unknown history made his name in one mission. Some asked him, which teacher caused such improvement? He answers with countless names, including the Inquirer's own.
Only one who treats the world as their teacher can bear its eventual destiny.
Those with golden blood are bound to succeed.
The golden heroes are born as gods, beloved.
Such words echo in the man's mind. Yet he knows glory is not where the journey begins. He misses the buried rake, worshipped the enemy with the long beard, mended his tattered books, and polished the barracks' dust-covered gear. What forges a hero is not destiny from above, but the long journey that follows. Now he stands here and looks back, and his past twists into a winding path. The long road to the sky stretches ahead. And towards the blazing white sun, he pens down Deliverance's name.
Final? Perhaps you're more suited to being a teacher's assistant.
There were once those who misunderstood his alias. Final, an eventuality for students, a test for knowledge gained. It may bring wisdom to light and illuminate efforts, but the word's more common meaning is nothing less than the end.
That's quite ominous.
The man pretended to be surprised and responded with a smile.
Though it does dovetail with our destiny.
Laughter resounds. The man walks the land, leaving footprints filled with joy. Despite the weight of the past, he can always laugh it away. Those nearby glance at each other, unsure of how to respond.
Perhaps I was just born easygoing.
His explanation is just as carefree.
Look at Mighty and Professor Anaxa. Boys all grow up into serious adults. But as long as I keep smiling, Akuma will always have an upbeat, shining young man.
Though, having said that, he too has quiet moments. Each time he gazed long toward the coming dawn, a smile remained fixed on his lips, paying no mind to anything else. His eyes were painted with the azure of the sky, gaze fixed on the titan bearing the world.
I was just imagining.
He explained his own trance in a comment.
Kefali too was once in mortal flesh and raiment.
Now, when the man comes with sword in hand, there is no need to doubt he will swiftly win victory. But his smile is pure. Ever since the start of the journey, he is still called a youth in this story. Youth is always ambitious, with lofty goals, but it seems that in the man's heart, only the wishes of others are held.
Apart from the ideal of deliverance, what do you have left?
The golden-haired friend once asked him so. He remained silent. Then, as he was wont to do, he simply smiled.
As long as I don't ask for too much, everything will unfold as desired.
In Amphorius, untitled statues are a prevalent sight. As for the inspiration behind these statues, they are said to be the clay figures that Kefali made at the world's creation. They made clay figures in their likeness, bestowed upon them the breath of life, and allowed the golden divinity of their blood to course through. Thus, the very first mortals roamed the earth, receiving the god's mercy while realizing the sorrows of this world. But that sorrow was, in the end, only the sorrow of the world. Nobody ever cared what lay behind the smile, what the clay figure thought. The people likened him to the blazing sun, bringing to Amphorius a glorious dawn. And for his part, he embraced their expectations, being willing to become the perfect vessel. Like that god who shouldered the world, the man never cried or frowned. Yet he is not proud of his resolve, for sometimes he even avoids the funerals of the departed, only out of fear that he cannot cry for those in pain. He once sought out emotions of sorrow and walked with the lowliest of people.
Henceforth, your misfortune shall be my misfortune.
Responsibly and diligently, he protected all for the people, living in dilapidated cottages, sitting on aged stools, subsisting on nuts and fruit, beset by hunger and cold. The people thanked him for his grace. Like a hearth warming winter nights, the man's presence dispelled the cold, leaving warmth with promises of morrow. Whence does his warmth come from? None ask. The man gradually perceives his true nature, but he dares not speak. Unable to bear the turmoil in his heart, the man set off on a journey once more.
Then I shall go save what I can.
He was a formidable warrior, invincible in battle, and when it was necessary to sacrifice for fellows, he could do so with ease, giving up everything without a show. Just as the ballad blown on the breeze says, losses are a constant on the flame-chased journey. Indeed, sacrifices were not hard for him, yet his misgivings grew with every tomorrow. Like a tear that cannot be shed, such a resolute willingness to let go comes only from the fact that in decisions, he is utterly unafraid to hurt himself.
It is because you suffer that you are so much stronger than any ordinary person.
There were also those who could understand him, among them, the Crown Prince. But he smiled wryly in response. Perhaps everything was just human nature, yet his misgivings never dissipated. This unknown man in an unknown corner, from time to time, is swallowed by terror.
Could it be that, unknowingly, path I walk is by no means the correct one?
Fearing only that the greater the burden, the more the mistakes. The road trod by heroes need not be that beset by thorns. Finally, at the terminus of that road, in a desolate, empty place, the man's arms tremble. The power is beyond control, savaging all around it. This is the end of his road, but perhaps he had long foreseen it, but was doomed to be powerless to change it.
I am willing to shoulder this world. That is no lie.
But before the tears could flow, they were vaporized by the heat. His light blazed brighter than the sun, but beneath it, there was but cold destruction. The nameless hero, Kaslana. He had never loved himself. Why would he love this world? A gust of wind will one day sweep past, wiping away all of the man's tracks. Nearly every footprint was stamped full of the fury that filled him. That humble youth faded away with the flames into yesterday. The first ray of light to pierce the long night was brought by the burning man, but the body that bore the weight of the world was forged by the fires of wrath. Rage is a crafty emotion. It changes its face, concealing itself within the man's life. His friend fought blood-soaked battles so their people would need fight no longer. But every victory and battle he gained left him neither satisfied nor proud, only with the indifference of emptiness.
You must be careful. Duty does not drive you to wield your blade, but hate.
His teacher kindly reminded him thus.
And behind that hatred, you seem to desire the destruction of the self.
But what about his joy? Was that too merely a phony disguise? He who once laughed amidst the crowd, day after day, as though it were second nature. No, even though he knew not the meaning of love, that happy past was not a lie someone wove. But now, even those memories have melted into fury. His hatred is such that he cannot hold on to what he cherishes, though all is precious to him. Fueled with lone courage, he attempted to resist fate, but the burning sun that shines upon all creatures once fallen will incinerate the land, becoming golden death. But what of his sorrow? Indeed, the man could shed no tears. But at the moment the cycle manifested, when all that was familiar was now remote, the world collapsed, becoming empty in an instant. But the stabbing pain in the man's heart, was it but the residual warmth of his wraths? The truth no longer important, the man simply took another step forward. He wasn't willing to believe it, but was willing to acknowledge it.
There is no need to question your heart. No need to crave victory. If I am born to be a vessel of sin, then I shall roar at evil, and together with it burn.
In the endless cycles, there were some moments when the man felt everything dissolve like a dream. In that dream, he would awaken again and become once more that boy who loved to laugh. But were he to open his eyes, the fury would cast a shadow. He saw the creators choke his throat, gurgling and gasping. And in that boundless dream, he mistook them for his own jest. But their true forms were violent hatred towards the creators, towards himself, a roaring inferno. The prophecy departed, Amphorius was unable to usher in the dawn. What rises in the distance is not the morning sun, but a ball of all-devouring fire, setting the universe in conflagration, searing till the end of time. On the day that the grove fell, he accepted his defeat and demise, as if embracing truth and heresy.
Believe in Titans, and you'll have a happy death. Deny the Titans, and you'll have a fulfilling death.
Yet, as the lightened soul bids farewell to its heavy shell, a Titan made an untimely call.
Do not be startled, child of humanity. You have a final query in this world.
You finally came.
He does not seem shocked and lets the core flame take over his shell.
Be more punctual next time, if you will.
Upon his first meeting with the Titan, the blasphemer is already on his best behavior. And towards the suggestion to reforge his body, he paid no mind.
I have so kindly offered you the best body. So why do you insist upon your mortal imperfection?
The scholar replies in candor.
Only by retaining the various flaws can my humanity be preserved in rigor.
His form remains in the mortal realm, while his spirit walks the river of soul's shores. Between life and death, he fatigues. Dwelling in the child of humankind's thoughts and senses, the Titan cannot bear to remain a mere spectator.
Why not ask me your questions, child of humanity? I am rich in wisdom, and shall speak with no ambiguity.
As though an unspoken pact, the scholar asked the god about all things, feigning a humble quest for knowledge.
Do you treat me just as a way to answer questions? A mere machine?
The Titan got what they asked for.
You should thank me, for good questions are rarer than good answers.
Compared to the joy of a new life, the scholarly breakthrough carried home alongside death filled the scholar's heart with more fervor. He returned to the scourged grove many times, and the black tide followed. Despite his defeats, he never sought help or permission. But at every desperate moment, the Titan would eventually take over one half of his body, the union of man and God, a flawed and clumsy choreography. It happened but once, a perfect harmony, one man, one God, speaking in one breath.
Stop stepping forward at the same time as me.
The Titan once revealed the secrets of mixing life, a boon, seemingly a blessing, but full of malice.
What a tempting bait. But that's not my desired chalice.
Divine power is within his reach, but the scholar is not moved by that essence. This long and abnormal temptation is also a trial of elevation, for the sage can achieve all things, but shortcuts alone he abhors with silence.
Teacher, in this tumultuous world, have you thought about your will?
It was just a joke, but the scholar, still at the grove, answered with extreme caution. He has much to say about his posthumous affairs, exhausting all, fearing the smallest omission.
Teacher, could it be that you fear
the assistant asks in concern. It was a question needed, yet he gave no direct reply.
Philosophy is the inquiry into death, and I have always considered myself a philosopher.
The assistant recounts all of the scholar's final wishes, each mighty as a mountain, asking what seemed impossible.
The tombstone must be made of my treasured rare stones, carved with Dromus patterns.
But that stone is a miracle of alchemy, tough beyond measure. No chisel could have shaken.
That's also his plan.
The assistant softly reveals the hidden plot.
He hopes that instead of shedding tears over his death, we will find it in us to smile, even in a moment of sorrow.
It's rumored that in the depths of the grove, the scholar left a teaching ingenium, imitating himself to the utmost detail.
Go back. The living have not exhausted their thoughts. Go back. The dead have no desire to teach their works.
The ingenium's words are cold and detached, like the deceased man himself.
But if you have no one to talk to, fine. You can sit and converse.
Now, the grove is no longer bustling, and the scholar has returned to dust. Thus, few in this world now know how he was also troubled by solitude in life. Someone once suggested,
perhaps your ambition should also find its place among your final wishes.
Pointless notion.
He dismissed in derision.
Unveiling the countenance of the gods is a task for the living.
Perhaps that is his haughty position. Such a melancholy topic, yet he insists on feigning a twist, avoiding it altogether. Perhaps these chapters should not be retained. Most are from the scholar's handwritten drafts, shown without his permission. Yet there seems to be a voice there in remonstration.
It's just the past. What harm is there in revelation?
Even in passing, his hubris still resounds in reverberation.
The smaller a thing is, the more it shows its weight. The more foolish my name is, the more glory my achievements will be in comparison.
She can see the most delicate colors, the most distant contours. She can see the most secret desires, and through the most perfect liars.
But being able to see everything is the same as seeing nothing.
Countless mirages and cacophony surround her with stimuli plenty, casting her into another kind of blindness overwhelming. So she soaks herself in the bath and lets her golden thread go beyond the palace. When the water drops on the thread vibrate and shiver, she closes her eyes and listens to the echoes silently. She hears how a mother's feet were wounded for treading over too many stones, and is soaking her feet in the hot water bath. she hears children playing next to the pools, and someone is saying loudly,
I heard that the Golden Goddess also likes to visit the baths.
She's used to bathing alone at the start of the hours of lucid or parting. Her golden hair spread in the water like a throne, like the scattered golden threads wrapping her again in a cocoon. Yanis's holy maiden silently walks over, scooping up water to wash the weaver's hair, as if cleansing the bough of a laurel tree. That is when the one who sees the core flame finally knows there's no difference between a demigod and a true deity. The golden blood that congealed through divinity only in this heavy heat can temporarily flow and let this golden butterfly feel a fleeting warmth. Just as she had once touched her own face, falls the final tear her eyes will ever produce.
Teacher, I had a dream.
She recounts, like a young girl on a whim. The sound of the water repels all disruptions and speech. Such peaceful rest, such sweet dreams. She dreamed of how she was a naive, noble girl, ignorant of the world. She dreamed of the countless nights when she worked in the courtyards she weaved. She dreamed of being before the vine-covered temple where the wind blew by in a violent stream. Lastly, she dreamed of the prophecy that she heeded, how the ancient sound came through the 1,000 waves and could not be heard clearly in her dream.
The dawn device is always glittering, and birds are always chittering.
The children of Akama like these kinds of songs. Why not trust in the promise of an era Chrysia unending? Like how children believe in fairy tales passed down unceasing. But will the dawn device truly shine forever? Will the voices of songbirds not one day turn hoarse? In the golden bath in times gone by, she pierced her eyes, for she saw the all too dazzling future of everyone. That future was nothing compared to false promises. The gods have already determined her destiny and her passing. She knew. She has long known. The red-haired child appears worried.
You are aware of everyone's fate, yet never speak of your own future.
The child who passes along the prophecy understands that to lay such a heavy weight on one person is comparable to the dawn the world-bearing Titan shoulders.
There's only one future for silken threads. That is, to weave magnificent clothes for others.
She takes the children's hands, inviting them into the pools, intending to use warm water to wash away their concerns. Yes, before the toll of the bell that announces the hour, before the meeting to judge the flame chase begins. Do not waste the rare good dreams, or the languid waves, warm as tears. she mutters as destiny slumbers in her arms.
The one that wears this elegant attire in the future must bear the weight of the silk threads.
As always, to perceive the man's fury, one must do so 7,000 paces away. The Kremnos he guards is once again shrouded by mist. Rust, blood, and fire are the ceremonial ode to the demigod. There is no one to witness or to give cheers of glory. The final Kremnos festival goes on without end. The victor shall embrace death and silence, and his glory will only be remembered by the defeated array. For that man, laws and seals no longer have meaning. War and battle never cease for a single minute, each passing day indistinguishable, morning and night entwined. The corpses pile up, filling ravines, forming mountains strong. He carved time with peak's edge and counted the fleeting years by fires of war. Sometimes the lion would climb to the hilltop to look down on the world and search for friends in longing. The distant heavens and earth stretched vast and boundless, but their endlessness felt ever more remote. Like Nikador, he cannot escape madness's clutches. Guarding the city alone and embroiled in war, the murmurs of the black tide constantly sound in his ears. Yet a flame soars up his chest every moment, casting light upon the indomitable path behind him. Memories seal the echoes of the past as the man strides into battle, fists clenched fast. He is the wound this world must bear, the new king before whom old gods despair. As stated in Idonia's poems, humans are born with eyes closed to accustom to this world's light, and their sight fades in old age to reacquaint with night's anthems. But the man did not bow to the decay of time, rejecting the lure of death's call. With each return from the brink of death, his eyes burn with fury, fixed upon his foes, until everything suddenly faded away, like a surging black tide swallowing all into nothingness. The world dissipates in the roiling black tide's requiem. Even the lion will one day die, a departure with no way back. With a sudden fall, his pierced chest hits the ground, and slowly flowing into the underworld is his golden blood, departing his system. But that gaze, fierce as flame, never dimmed, not even in death, looking beyond those flame-seeking figures, reaching far toward the endless horizon. In the morrow sky, the stars will chant, "The lone king of Kremnos is called mighty. His journey was one of ceaseless, eternal warfare, and behind him, he left a world ablaze with glory." The two girls frolicked in the wheat fields, fleet as doe deer, making ripples in the shallow puddles and pools clear. As dusk approaches, the exhausted girls collapse over the wheat heaps, talking about their longings and dreams of literature, love, and a journey through a world dear.
Oh, Sky, slow your closing gaze. How I want to keep this moment in my hands forevermore.
On that day, the breeze was warm and gentle. At that time, death was soft and fair. The broken-winged butterfly falls by the window, bringing with it a scent of melancholy. The girl looks outside. The golden wheat fields rolled endlessly, stretching to the horizon. Holding to the chair, she tries to stand, only to find her legs trembling and feeble.
Don't worry, Pelixia.
Her older sister whispers beside her ear, and on her sister's shoulder, the girl weeps mournfully. And time thus becomes silent, painted with sighs only. When hearing the healer's diagnosis, the girl remained deathly still. Her eyes were already drained of tears, and her heart a wilted grave.
Every time she has something on her mind, she would tilt her head and look outside.
Her sister follows her gaze, seeing a barren field turned by wind into a desolate gray expanse. Till one day, when the girl looks outside, she sees a dash of dark blue, most brave.
It's a flower my sister planted.
Like the torrential river of life, it pours into the depths of her heart. The flower is called Antilla. Even in the Netherland, it's rumored to thrive.
You are the quiet in my heart, amidst the chaotic choreography.
That seems to be its floriography. When the days are warm, the sister would take the girl on long journeys through the flower fields, gazing upon rivers, napping amongst the grove, a discussion hardy.
After I die, I want to become an Antilla flower and become the quietness in your soul.
A thoughtless word from the girl gains her a wrapping on her forehead most dainty.
Do not speak of dusk when you have yet to see the dawn.
Dew drops from the petals as wind pulls on the leaves, and the two of them sit in quietude. The girl asks for the means to tend to the garden, and while her sister sounds concerned, her heart is relieved. But the concern is well-founded. The girl tripped and fell into a mire. She gazed directly into the eyes of death in that dark pool, bottom unperceived.
I've been the weight upon my sister's wings. Let this be where it all comes to rest.
The girl gives up her struggles, only to see a figure pierce through the water's surface.
I won't allow you to walk through the dusk alone, or enter the night of no reprieve.
Her sister sobs without end, and the girl has to gently hug her and softly relieve. And then, this distant memory turns bleary, difficult to retrieve. The river of souls flows to the other side, wrapped in the land's night. Broad, slow, an eternal and silent sight. It belongs to all in this world that has life, all of which flows downstream, converging as one. The master of the nether realm, Thanatos, enshrouds himself and the souls within the moon cocoon. The dragon, born from the cocoon, carries a girl, soaring upstream the river of souls, defying its eternal flow. Their connection flows tighter than blood, and the key that opens the netherworld's gates is the sisters' selfish plight. Back then, the boreal winds cut through to the bone. Back then, death was a bitter and stabbing fright. In the netherrealm, without an earth or sky, a flower named Antilla blooms, its beauty witnessed by but one soul.
You are the quiet in my heart, amidst the chaotic choreography.
The younger sister scores through the blooming Antilla fields, never finding that promised dark blue sprig. She silently made up her mind.
Death, leave all your dark nights to me, and save the dawns for her.
The younger sister gazes at the moon cocoon high above and plans a trip to the mortal realm, a distant flurry. A bard once sung to musical notes.
Do not turn back. Oh, do not turn back. The long hand of shadow will retain the dead behind their gates.
The giant dragon born from the moon cocoon willingly offered itself as the enduring barge of the river of souls.
No need to turn back. Oh, no need to turn back. That price had long been paid for you by someone else.
The dragon lowers its long neck and places the girl on its back. In slumber, she will unknowingly greet the dawn of her rebirth. The dragon flaps its wings in the chilly gloom of the floating dead upstream, ferrying from purity into grime, going from silence to roaring boom. The souls of countless poets flounder past, their distant rhymes endless like foams.
Do not turn back, for to look toward the land of mortals is in itself turning back.
In this pale dawn, the sun's first rays light the night ablaze. So the dragon crosses the sea of souls onto the shores of life and strands itself in the gleam. We know not where these stories arise. They are scattered across the shallows with the waves. The confession the girl made before her departure still echoes in the tide's heaves.
If there is anything for me to leave behind, may it find a soul to remember. This is the ode of my life, and I've already penned my last stroke.
In Dolos' suburbs, in a tiny weaving workshop, the silk-weaving old woman busies herself within, as her smart child wanders outside on a whim. The silk pours from the loom, some bright as the dawn, some dark as the night. The woman had lived her whole life in poverty, yet through her business, she never deceives.
Good child, listen to me. Never lie and speak deceit, for people like you only do to honesty.
The girl smiles and nods, but her heart is drawn to the boundless desires of the bustling streets. And the grandmother is unaware that her handmade white dress has been stained by the mud of conceit.
Madam, what is a bundle of white silk's price?
Sir, only 2,000 balance coins.
An honest price tag can only meager profit obtain.
If we keep selling cloth like this, we'll stay poor for the rest of our lives.
The girl complains to her grandmother while sprouting countless plots and petty tricks. The woman smiles and does not reply, only weaving with night-shaded silk a suave, hooded robe for her little spark.
Why don't you take some of our goods and go into the city tomorrow to try out those pranks?
The mesmerizing moneyed charm of Dolo City turns minds and tongues into a whirlwind of confusion. Even the girl who prided herself on sharp ears and a clever tongue could not contend with the myriad of shifting faces before her. She returns penniless and furiously seethes.
I vow to the god of thieves that I will eventually empty those people's pockets.
Smiling, her grandmother stops her silk work and offers some dinner with humble dish.
Silly child, don't let Titans hear such vows and promises.
Yet when the moon rises, a magnificent pin graces the old lady's pale locks. The girl smiles at the old woman, now stunned in shock.
I actually did return with some catch.
The brilliance adorning her white hair drew all eyes, and its proud original owner arrived to stake their claim. The bet that the girl won with a brilliant trick is described as a thief's loot through lying schemes. The old woman, in her panic, shouldered the blame, confirming a sin that was but a fabrication.
By Dolos's laws, we must also execute all her family!
To protect the girl, the old woman reveals the final secret unseen.
She's not my family, but just an orphan picked from the street on a whim.
People thought this to be a lie, but the girl knows her grandmother cannot deceive, just like how she always glossed over questions about parents and kin.
Your parents went to a city-state far away.
The girl never bothered to unravel the threadbare lie.
Stop! Stop right there, you thief!
Run! Run as fast as you can! Cyphera!
The lies overthrow the shop and tear apart the good woman's good name, leaving the girl with guilt and grief. The hearth of her home was a lie, doused by another conceit. But if her sleight of hand had better skill, would it have made that fire burn forever? The girl pulls down the hood and sinks into the starless dark.
I vow to the god of thieves.
And from that day, she never left empty-handed, her words woven with deceit. However, back then the girl did not realize that the people did not covet one simple pin, but the golden blood flowing beneath her skin. If every single scar equals a coin, then the girl always pursued would be worth her weight in gold. Deception, theft, and night heists. But her nerves failed her when it mattered most. The girl clutches meager loot to her chest and escapes, muttering curses, bearing her pain.
If we're head on, I definitely win next time.
She always longs for the coin of Whimsy's blessing and creed. Yet the coin in the air always suddenly disappears, as if in reply from the trickery titan. Day and night flow, and the thief star makes circles across the sky, while time molds the girl into an adult. The cloak once used to conceal her entire body now only suffices as a hood that barely covers her fringe.
No matter. These days, I have no need to hide.
With a confident stride and a silver tongue, her perfected fraud thieving every opportunity as a result. And at curtain fall hour, those treasure-seeking steps fade into the moonlight. When she appears again, her arms are laden with money's weight. What is the art of thieving?
Stealing from the poor. Not enough loot. Stealing from the rich. That's a boring task to boot.
The girl narrows her eyes of greed towards those called the Chrysos heirs. The golden vines of the sages' homes, the sacred carcass of the deathward realm, the divine lyre of the seashore's pearl, and the crystal chalice of the 1,000 gates. The girl knows not the treasure's origins, only that they are all valuable beyond measure.
To have something priceless is the true art of thieving.
A pity the deceits are all eventually revealed, and the thief meets a rare defeat. A golden thread discerns her meticulous disguise, and the heroes hold down her third hand to imprison in this thief star made of human feet.
I take defeat with my head held high. Spare me your sympathy.
She frankly faces the accusations, knowing that escaping would be nothing more than child's play. So the Chrysos heir outside the cage smiles sweet.
Would you like to see my most precious?
A treasure bright?
It is a dress, like the beauty god Nestia's divine body. More blinding than the sun, rivaling the moon in its glory.
It is woven by divine threads. It captivates even the gods. But all the lies and deceit are revealed under the golden thread's query.
The world-famous thief is stirred by such grand words into a flurry.
Then just you watch. This wondrous dress will forever remain in my own gallery.
This is an age of ruin. The Chrysos War ignites once more, while Zagreus's taunts ripple through the city streets. This is also an age of splendor. 300 thieves spring forth from Dolos, each scheming to conceal the truth from prying eyes, robbing the rich to give succor to the poor.
Every one of them deceives gods and men alike, righteous and valiant.
The flame-chased journey has been cut short midway, yet the girl pounds her chest at the gold weaver, not afraid.
The core flame of trickery is near. If now isn't the time to risk it all, then when?
The prophecy reveals the Titan's trail, golden threads bind the fleeing god of thieves. The young girl flashed a grin and walked towards the god who was pretending to smile.
I once vowed to the god of thieves that I would force trickery to reap what they have sown.
The Titan whispered from the vortex, the god of trickery's earnest plea. They made a promise to the girl who entered the trial that the whole world would be bathed in light, no more lies and deceit. The young girl recalled the hearth fire of her childhood.
Cyphera, only honesty is well liked.
She pursed her lips.
That does sound like quite the ideal society. Of course I didn't accept. How boring would a world without deception be?
The young girl demonstrated her newly acquired divine power, molding lies into reality.
The defeated Titan is now not but a wandering soul.
But somewhere far away, a purple spirit thief opened bleary eyes. They had forgotten their previous life as a Titan and remembered only the girl's crafty message.
Go! Collect treasure, you greedy little grape. Once you regain the memories of trickery from chests, then I will claim the reward for saving your life.
In the days spent away from Akama, the girl grew accustomed to traveling alone. In a certain city, she heard of a spirit thief, rumors aplenty.
I, Bartolo's master thief, shall take all you've labored to gain.
So saying, the spirit thief steals the girl's coin pouch and fled without a trace. But a gust of wind brushed past, and the girl had already caught them.
Running for it? Your life was saved by my trickery, you know.
The old god and the new finally reunite, the two rivals who, from that moment on, became thieves and companions both. It's just that the spirit thief's companion was always scaring them.
Hey, the fish in the River of Souls are starving, you know.
A thief reveals a few lies.
The first lie is called, "Fellow thieves, come on and deceive gods with me."
The world has already forgotten that feast. Lies unnumbered that drowned the Day of Souls. Schemes uncounted, burning for a night of revelry. 300 thieves shackled in imprisonment in exchange for a Titan's resigned confinement.
To have managed to trick the Grand Master of all tricks.
I can die happy now.
This was Dolos's great achievement, the deception of the gods, where even Zagreus was fooled.
The second lie is called, "The god of trickery is now not but a wandering soul."
Why did she spare the Titan's life? The young girl knew not, even after asking herself. Was it greed for the treasure they promised? Or had she vaguely perceived their lonely fate?
It's because you're every bit as despicable as I am. It's such a relief not having to deal with the noble.
The girl dismissed and made light of herself, only forgetting trickery was once a god that supported the world.
The third lie is called, "Oh, eternal day, endlessly illuminate the holy city."
At dawn cloud, the chaplain's secrets foretold the coming of that endless night.
What if my lies are more sophisticated? Can the dawn last forever? No end in sight?
Bearing the fate of the thief star, the girl was long used to walking in shadow. But as she gazed towards the holy city's dawn, her duty became fixed in her heart, stalwart in might.
The fourth lie is called, "There's no reason. I just don't want to see you again."
The girl tried to mask her nonchalance, but could never fool the golden thread's questions. But it is the false-hearted malice that most powerfully forces belief. A true flame-chase hero willingly faded from attention, while the wayfaring traveler grasps tight onto fleeting light. She used divine power to forge a mask and conceal the last of her true heart.
The fifth lie is called, no. There are no more lies left.
The whimsical coin fell to the ground, telling the tale of fate fulfilled. Travels unwitnessed, ruses unknown, to whom may these now be told?
Lies are always but lies, but you can make them more beautiful than the truth.
Under the somber sky, golden blood soaked the thief's cloak. Like a golden thread tailored just for her, an exquisite robe that she never stole.
Meow.